Hello, my name is Ethan, and welcome back to another episode of Path of Exile Ritual League 3.13. In this episode, we're going to be doing an Animate Weapon 3.13 League Starter, POG. So my inspiration to make me go look at Animate Weapon again was, while I was looking at more builds for League Starters like I always do when the next season's coming up. I like to reevaluate. But we played specifically last Epoch, and I played all those Minion builds, and Minions are really awkward in that game. And so I thought, man, if I played 80 hours of that last Epoch Minions, right, I wanted to, feel out Animate Weapon, try it out again, let's see what it's like. It's been so long, and it's better than Skeletons. Here's level 5 gameplay with no gear and 13 minions. It's insane, not counting SRS. This is how the gameplay to summon them looks. So you have your Ethereal Knives or Bladefall, and it makes the lingering blades. You get these daggers, and you can click on them and summon them as things. So they count as glass shanks, but then they also have the added physical damage of the Animate Weapon. And so just very quickly with this mechanic, you can see how long they last. This is longer than Skeletons. They do more damage. They have more health. They follow you around. You can convocate them. It's not even close. Okay. And then these attack faster. They have added physical damage. They have more damage. They are a physical tag, which was added in the patch when they got buffed. And they're a duration tag, so they actually last 40 seconds right now, and now I'll show you all this stuff that I have planned for the scaling of the Animate Weapon and how insane this can be. Alright, now stage 2. So this patch, how do I do this? Patch 3.10. So I was still I'm still learning at this point, because now we're in 3.13. Think about it. This was 3 seasons ago. This happened, and I'm unaware of what the fuck is going on. I still am in like the Holy Grail territory, other than I think this is the patch that zombies got nerfed, but we still had golems. So I wasn't on to this new thing yet, because why should I move on to the new thing when I still have things that were in the game that are still great and more similar? But anyways, now has physical tag. So 3.10 is when I got the physical tag. This is when they gave it the damage multiplier actually working. It can be supported by Unleash and Spell Echo, which is actually interesting because I was thinking about this like, am I supposed to use Unleash? Maybe. The base duration went up. They changed the amount you could have in the cast speed, which that's not a big deal. I'll explain after. But look at the damage scaling. They gave it way more physical damage. And then it has the more damage, more attack speed. And then move speed. And then you saw them in game. Like, that's insane. So the physical tag, all these things are huge. Like, each one. And then you wonder, okay, so it's a 40-second duration, though. That's terrible, dude. We play permanent minions. Well, I'd like to compare this, actually, to to Summon Skeletons instead, right? Because that's what we use in the beginning to League start, and that's what I recommend, so therefore that's what we should compare to. And so Summon Skeletons lasts for 20 seconds. It's half the duration. And then the other thing is, in our skill tree, you can search skill effect duration and path of building. So if you don't know, you should probably use path of building community, so that you can load the POB and also calculate the DPS of your build and different changes you make, and so you can understand. So you can search skill effect duration, and here you notice that it's on Mistress of Sacrifice and the minion damage up to it in the Necromancer Ascendancy, and so 40% skill effect duration and another 10%, so 50%, and this affects the Animate Weapon. And then another There's also Minion duration that you can search for. And so here, so you saw this was the 10, and then you have 8, 8, 20. So that's 36. So in total, it's 86 duration. So instead of 40 seconds, it's like a minute and something. You could also technically run Potency of Will to get the extra 45, but I don't really like it that much. You can, though, if you wanted the extra duration. I think like a minute something is going to be long enough. And because they follow you around and stuff, where the skeletons, you have to constantly resummon them at every pack and every 2 screens anyways. This is probably going to be better. And then, especially as you scale up the build and shit, I can imagine just like running through a map, like kind of like you have zombies and you have these, and it's gonna look pretty good. So this is just the beginning, just to show you the scaling. So now I've mentioned the duration scaling, the physical scaling, how it was buffed in this patch, which makes all this actually, like, we probably should have done this a long time ago. I didn't need to, and now I want to. Yep. So now we go on to our POB. This is where it might blow some minds. Okay, so funny thing about the Animate Weapon, when you're trying to do this in a POB, you have to add a set of items with a glass shank, and then you can choose the second set of items so it shows that it has a glass shank, because that's how it simulates the damage. And I also had to enable are you animating lingering blades, because when I do the Ethereal Knives is leaving the lingering blade, and then I'm raising the lingering blade, and then this is enabling the additional damage by the lingering blade. The exact weapon is unknown, but should be similar to glass shanks. So see how perfect? So without it, with makes sense to me. And then some big things. We are this is basically my normal league starter that I recommend. Which is I'm very happy with recommending it, and you could do 3 points for unwavering, to be honest. But this is my generic skeleton league starter that I always do. It has all the scaling, 12, 25 to the 43 in the normal lab, and then it has all the scaling. And I've adjusted the scaling with the Animate Weapon Ethereal Knives start, because we won't have Freezing Pulse this time. So actually, Ethereal Knives is the level 1 skill instead of Freezing Pulse. I messed up. And then, yeah, we have Animate Weapon level 4, and we link it with the Summon Phantasm. And then the Animate Weapon starts popping off with Animate Weapon Minion Damage Melee Splash. Then we have... Oh, God. This happens sometimes. It's alright, man. As long as I fix it before I post it. Animate Weapon, boom. So the 4-link animate at level 18, you get melee fizz. So Animate Weapon, melee fizz, melee splash, minion damage. And then at the 31, we got Feeding Frenzy if you wanted from the library. And you get it as a quest reward from doing the library quest. And then at 34, you can get your Stone Golem or Carrion Golem. At 38, I put a Carrion Golem in instead, because you'll see after that it's fucking crazy. I'll actually show you. And is this the wrong skill tree for now? Yeah. The Carrion Golem is adding 14,000 DPS. It's not 2% in this build. It's really crazy, actually. It's so strong, the buff. And then our eventual setup is this 6-link Animate Weapon, where we get Impale, Minion Damage, Melee Fizz, Feeding Frenzy, Melee Splash, Animate Weapon. And we could put Multi-Strike in here, but we don't really need it. This is the skeleton setup, and then we've put it on the Animate Weapon. And so skeletons were 9 skeletons doing 100,000, but they were really squishy and weird, and potentially we might we might be able to just remove the Feeding Frenzy, and then we have way more damage because we'll have an extra entire support. But this is insane. And you have, so at the top end, you get 15 of these, and this has a physical tag. So then you'd actually be able to scale this with weapons that have +1 physical skill gems on a level 2 wand, and it'd be so easy to make, especially with Harvest. And I can imagine a Cold Iron Point early could be so powerful in this build. But this is without anything, and there's 15 of them, and this is crazy damage. And then if you actually want to dig into this even further, the Impale stuff, I posted a video on how I think Impale works and why I think my minion stuff is so good with Impale. So therefore, I think that having more minions again is adding to this combo of making more Impale and good synergy to get more out of it. And so 15, and then they attack really fast. They don't have a slam, so they don't have to worry about that. We just use melee splash. Pretty good damage, really good survivability to show it against the zombies. The zombie has 26,000. Yep. And then I also showed here that you could swap out the Summon Phantasm for Multi-Strike if the Phantasms, if you're pushing content that they don't survive enough, but really the Phantasms should be able to just keep respawning, so it shouldn't matter. Even if they do die, they should respawn from the zombies and the Carrion Golem, and it's just more minions. But if you want Multi-Strike for the Carrion Golem and the zombie, you can do that. That's perfectly fine. And I guess just to not have any confusion, I should just put this as a Carrion Golem and not have it as a stone. Yeah, that would be probably better. Okay, now we have full, complete, perfect, clean, nothing wrong, other than like maybe recommending unwavering stance, I noticed. God damn it, dude. Wait a minute. I'll fix that. Either way, is that everything I have saved up? This is just the League starter, so it didn't include all of the items and all the scaling for what you're going to craft and stuff. But I'm sure for anyone who's been following me for like a 1.5 to 2 years in this game for minions, they already start to see the big picture and how this scales, just like all the other minions we've done. It's a melee, physical minion, and it's pretty fucking cool. And all you have to do is run the Ethereal Knives to be able to run the Animate Weapon. Pretty cool. Either way, enough complicated mechanics and build design and all this and showing off the build, and now let's just do the base normal like the start of the League starter. So you start with these first 12 points, go up to here through this minion damage, minion attack speed, dead life, and then you get the extra zombie skelly. You could, yep, all this damage is sick. I love the first 12 points, and then the 25 we go for the enduring bond and the quick recovery up to the minion life to go towards the sacrifice. And then in the skills, we're doing level 1 zombie and ethereal knives instead of the freezing pulse. And then level 4 raise zombie with a summon phantasm, summon raging spirit with phantasm, animate weapon with phantasm, frost blink, animate weapon 8 with minion damage and melee splash, raise zombie with phantasm and minion damage. And that level 10 you get Flame Dash, Vitality. This is when your minions stop dying. Spirit Offering at 12 helps res cap your minions. It's really sick. And extra damage. Skitterbots, Pog, Desecrate at 16. 18 we get Melee Fizz added to the link. Convocation at 24. Pride at 24. Vulnerability at 24. And then our skill tree, we go to 43 in first lab. So we go and get the extra area, the Death Attunement. Then we go into, we get vulnerability at 24, 28, we get Spectre. We can do Spectre, Phantasm, Minion damage. You could run a damage Spectre if you want in the beginning. You could also run Spectre, Minion life, and then at 31, Blood Magic to run your support Carnage Chieftain like we would normally do. So again, Spectre, Minion life, Blood Magic, Carnage Chieftain from the Ashen Fields to get... to get power. Well, you wouldn't be able to go Act 7 yet. It'd be like Act 2 old fields, and it's a Carnage Chieftain to get Frenzy charges. That's what I was trying to say. Jesus. And then you could do, I don't know why this is here. Fixed. 31, you can get Dreadbanner Generosity, and then Animate Weapon can get Feeding Frenzy from the library. And then 58, you go get the Purity of Flesh and the Grave Pact. 70, Cruel Lab is Unnatural Strength. This is where we went and got the extra Righteous Army Redemption, and you can start pathing towards Righteous Army. Ravenous Horde. Sorry. And then 34, we have a 4-link Ray Zombie, Phantasm, Feeding Frenzy, Carrion Golem. 38, Ray Zombie, Multi-Strike, Feeding Frenzy, Carrion Golem. And then a Mortal Call, Cast No Damage Taken, Vitality. And this is my 6th-link for the Animate Weapon. Animate Weapon, Melee Splash, Feeding Frenzy, Melee Fizz, Minion Damage, Impale. And then Dreadbanner, link to Generosity, and then there's Pride. Pride doesn't work with Generosity. My Spectre, this is what I had in the beginning when you're leveling, because for the survivability of the Spectre, especially with the -1 level loss, it can be hard to keep the Spectres alive. So Spectre, Blood Magic, Minion Life, Meat Shield, again, Old Fields or Ashen Fields, Carnage Chieftain for the Frenzy charges. That's what I use in leveling. I only get the Host Chieftain when I'm at mapping, and I have like 3 Spectres. The first 2, I do 2 Carnage Chieftains. Convocation, Flame Dash, Spirit Offering. Vulnerability. And then these are the links when your gems are all level 20. So, Ray Zombie, Phantasm, Feeding Frenzy, Carrion Golem. You can take out Phantasm for Multi-Strike if you don't like the Phantasm. Here's Cast No Damage Taken, Immortal Call, Skitterbots. Dreadbanner, Generosity, Desecrate Pride in the gloves. Link the Generosity and the Dreadbanner. Convocation, Flame Dash, Spirit Offering. Respecter, Blood Magic, Minion Life, and so I took out the Meat Shield and I put in Ethereal Knives for the end game because we need it. And then Animate Weapon, Feeding Frenzy, Melee Splash, Impale, Melee Fizz, Minion Damage. The extra link, if you didn't run Feeding Frenzy, might be Multi-Strike or Brutality or Ruthless. These are all options for sure. And that's in the case that you don't want to run Feeding Frenzy. And then Vulnerability. And so those are my things. Then I have this potential phase run setup. If we can summon our Animate Weapons and clear a whole map in like a minute and a half so that they don't ever despawn, maybe we could phase run. And we're just not casting anything else. And maybe we cast when damage taken, the Bone Offering or Spirit Offering, so that you don't have to cast it, or you could trigger it with a trigger wand and then phase run automatic, and then the phase run will trigger the offering. We could also go the Cyclone route for perma phasing. These are the 2 phasing setups basically to think about for later. Yeah, it's pretty cool. This shit's insane. Super exciting build. Super Pog. This is pretty much very similar to the Skeletons, obviously, but then we're running the Animate Weapons, and I showed you they look fucking insane and they attack really fast, and so they should work really well with Impale, especially having 15 of these. It just might be a little bit annoying spawning them at the beginning, but then when we get all the scaling of the increased minion duration and the skill effect duration later, they'll actually last longer too. And so we might want to go Mistress 3rd instead of 4th. I'm not sure entirely yet, but it'll be good no matter what you do. I'm sure of that. Like, this is still better than Skeletons, basically no matter what, other than the Vaal summon Skeletons. And then for weapons, for items, I show that you can go +1 physical wands, Driftwood wands, level 2 wands, or have a really high chance of rolling +1 skill gems for physical. And then the gear, I basically just show this as like life across the gear, so that you'd have 5,500 in this build with life on the gear, with just like basic life. no increased life or anything crazy of like extra influence mods, and it's just res to res cap and chaos res cap, and it's showing you like where to maybe get the reses so that it's easily spread out across the build and not all stacked in really expensive items. So it's showing you how you could get like 1 or 2 mods on each, maybe craft up an extra mod. I showed endurance charge. This isn't that easy to get, so don't don't like chase this as this is kind of just showing you that it's a possibility so people know that they can look for this. This is a June unveil of a suffix for rings and amulets, so you can get 3 endurance charges in the build, but obviously a league start really hard to get. You need item level 75 June items. And then I showed Taunt Blind Ghastly Jewel, so it might be pretty hard to get Taunt Blind in the beginning, but maybe just a Taunt or just a Blind Jewel is going to be doable. I just wanted to show that you could go for both, and Stygian Vice. And then I made the items as easy as possible to craft with as little as much on each one, and they're all spread out across. And the 6-link chestplate would probably be like a corrupted chestplate for trade. You'd buy a 6-link corrupted chestplate day 1 with like life and a random res, and in this case I did fire. Yep, this should be pretty consistent. And then for pots in the beginning, I like to use immune to bleed, instant life flask, the eternal enduring mana with ward, so curse immune for 5 seconds. Then we have the freeze immune basalt, the increased armor granite, and the quicksilver with move speed. I like to do reduce charges on these 2, so you can click this one twice and click this one 3 times instead of once and twice. And then granite, I like to get a charge when you're hit by an enemy, because with these up you can actually tank, and so then you can tank hits, and getting hit you get the charges back, and it's only 30 of 60 where this one's normally 40, so it's slightly better on that one. You could also do like reduced charges or increased duration, bunch of options, they all work. But I wanted to spend a little bit of time and just go through all the skill tree, the process, the leveling, and the skills and the items. I hope this helps a lot of people. Hope they then get to try this out, experiment, maybe practice. I'm not so much of a practice guy. I just want to fucking go and play the real game, and I just can't wait for this new expansion Ultimatum. It's really sick. If you guys don't already know, there's going to be a new announcement of the announcement, basically. So they're doing a stream, and we're allowed to co-stream it. So I'm going to be co-streaming my reaction to the actual announcement as it's happening. So I'll be streaming again when the announcement happens in like 6 days. So stay tuned for that. I'll leave I think a time, like how long, like when it is, in the description below, so you guys can look forward to that. And anyone who wants to, obviously they can try out the build and go practice and enjoy Animate Weapon and feel it out for themselves. Either way, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for hanging out. I'm going to take this opportunity to thank my Patreon and my YouTube members. Wait, how do I get rid of this? It's been a while. Thank you to my Patreon and my YouTube members who financially support the channel. I can't do this without you guys, so thank you guys for all the support, and thank you to anyone new who joins the Patreon or the YouTube members today, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye!